So if you hear me, clap one. If you hear me, clap one. If you hear me, clap two. No, only one, Dutta, only one. So again, if you hear me, clap two. If you hear me, clap three. All right, so now everyone heard me. So let me be honest with you. I'm not sure how many we can take, how many minutes we're going to take, but we going to break our session into two. First, we're going to have a keynote speaker, which they're going to share about their thought on the understanding and mapping the life economy. And after that, here at just sit this over there. And after should we do the clapping again? So if you hear me, clap one. If you hear me, clap one. If you hear me, clap two. If you hear me, clap three. Okay, yeah, forgot myself. All right, so I just want to summarize again. We're going to break our session into two. First, we're going to invite our keynote speaker. We're going to have, I think, only three in this room. We're supposed to have four, but I don't see the other one. To do an initial remark, to act as a catalyst to drive the conversation. So if we have our fellow in the room who have the commitment, have a solution, have the idea that they want to continue to discuss, to clearly define, or the action that they want to take, and they would like to know the next step, I think is the role of our keynote speaker in the room to drive and catalyze the conversation, right? So after the keynote speaker, all of us, include the speaker, will join the group. And I'm gonna let the group form organically. You can just do it alone, or you can just form the team with 2 or 3 people. Each team or individual will receive this paper as a guide for you, which you are going to write the name, or what is the actions or the idea, and why is it important, and who is going to involve in this. Last but not least, what are the next steps? I think the last question is very important. What are the next steps that you are going to take, individually or in the organizational level? Right. But before I start, I would like to introduce some simple rule that we have been using in the art of hosting. This is a FIDO that I have been using. One, I would like to invite all of you to invite openness and invite the curiosity. Open your mind to listen to people. When I'm talking about the listening, I love to use the word listening with intention. There's a difference between active listening and listening with intention. You put the question and then you listen to capture that information. But then when it's come to your turn to speak, I would like you to speak with intention. That answer to the question, answer to the goal of the session that we want. Fourth, I would like to invite you to take care of people next to you. If you feel that people next to you are a bit nervous or cannot present, you can help, or you can, which is not the case, I believe, you can help them to, or maybe they stuck for the next step, so you can also help them as well. Last but not least, in this room, I would like to invite all of you to offer what you can and ask for what you need. From what I understand is that if you be honest with what you need and brave to ask for what you need, it's not considered a weakness, but it's actually a strength to be able to ask for what you need. Right. I also going to use this bell, and I would like all of you to respect this. Include the keynote speaker. All of you, we have 3 minutes to speak, or if you were invited to speak. And when I do this, it doesn't mean that you should stop talking. No, it means that you have less than 1 minute to wrap your sentence. or to wrap the key point that you would like the room to know. And I'm going to let you stop by then. And I might do it 2 or 3 times, just a reminder. All right. So I think that's pretty much from me. So anyone have any question on the process? All good? All right. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm not sure who is the order of the speaking. But first, I would like to invite Daniel to do an initial remark. And you have 3 minutes.
Thank you so much for the honor to be here. And let me share a short story with you of how the LiFE economy may be appreciated in Europe as well. One day I found in my fridge a bottle of juice, and on that bottle was a sign, sort of a label saying "Economy for the Common Good." And I was wondering, what is this? I've never seen that label. And then I inquired about where does this come from? And I found there's a huge initiative going on in Europe and across oceans as well, starting with local citizen assemblies, bringing people together and asking for their values for a economy, basically a LiFE economy, what their main values are, starting from the bottom. And then from there, they gathered a whole matrix of value, what they call the economy for the common good matrix, and which they take as a base to assess every economic activity regarding its contribution to common good or to the LiFE economy, basically. And they even went further and said, okay, we got to link this to governance as well, in demonstrating that if we found that an economic activity performs very well on the LiFE, on the common good, then we will incentivize this economic activity by governance issues with providing better access to investment, cheaper taxes, and so on. And other way around, if they find based on that common good accounting, this economic activity does maybe harm or is not yet there at contributing to that economy, then it's getting disincentivized. And to me, this was a very intriguing sign and signal of how there's preparedness in Europe as well for deliberating LiFE economies and creating local ownership and bottom-up kind of process and values that really are shared broadly, even up to the level of what they call a common good product, or we could call it LiFE economy product as at a national level, which is a comparable base then for shared values within that society for every economic activity. Thank you so much, and I'm very happy to have Arvind here as well. Should I directly introduce him
Yes, you
as
can
well?
do a popcorn style here.
Sorry?
You can do a popcorn style and pass it to her.
Okay. I'll directly... May I continue?
Sure.
Yeah. Hand over to Arvind, because it's a great coincidence having him here visiting the family. He's a child of India and recently a professor in El Paso for communication and social change. And he's got a beautiful approach as well for inside-out development from local perspective, acting our way into new ways of thinking, right?
Yes. Okay. Well, thank you, Daniel. I just happened to be here for a nephew's wedding, and I'm happy to be roped in. What can I offer in 3 minutes? 3 stories. When Abraham Lincoln was asked, Mr. President, how tall are you? He said to the person who asked him, son, like you, tall enough that my feet reach the ground. Okay, I'd like you to keep that in mind. Here's a commander-in-chief, here's a president, here's apparently a very tall man who says, my feet reach the ground. This has implications for the life economy. Second story, when Mother Teresa was asked, when she was in Washington, D.C., by about 20,000 people, Mother, would you march for the march that we're having in Washington against the Vietnam War? She said, I am so sorry, my child, but if you were to choose to have a march for peace, I would be the first to lead. This has tremendous implications for, I believe, the life economy. Third story, why not we invoke Mahatma Gandhi? When he was asked by people of my grandparents' generation, Bapu, why do you travel third class? His response always was, I travel third class because, as you know, there is no fourth class. I'm telling you these three stories because principally they represent a mindset shift, a flip. I have been working with an approach called the positive deviance approach for the last 20 years. Been a student of organizing and social change for the last 40. And when I heard about this approach and saw its implementation, it flipped my world upside down, much like these three stories. So I believe strongly that nothing changes if stories don't change. Nothing changes if the theory of change doesn't change. And nothing changes if new language, new metaphors, new ways of looking at the world, new ways of being are in existence. So what is the positive deviance approach? Do I have a minute?
You have 1 minute.
Oh, okay, perfect. If you take these three stories and formulate a different question, and we know that we only grow in the direction of the questions we ask. And as a professor, very careful about the kind of, I think we have been asking some not so good questions in the past. The question we need to ask for any complex problem that we are trying to solve is, what is working? Which is what Mother Teresa is saying. We are for peace. We are for, well-nourished kids. We are for women who are empowered. We are for businesses that are sustainable. We should ask what's working. What are you for? Gandhi tells us that we should always ask the question, what is working for the fourth class? And Lincoln is telling you that expertise is located not with the expert. So in Vietnam, a positive deviance project, which was a classic project, they asked a very simple question. The question was, they were trying to address the problem of malnutrition. Are there children under the age of 5 who live in the remotest rural areas, come from the poorest families, the fourth class, but who are well nourished? And if you find those children based on a data-driven approach, they are deviants because they are not the norm. They are a deviation from the norm, but they are positive because they've already solved the problem. So if you can figure out what the heck they are doing, the children who shouldn't be well-nourished but who are, then the answers to the problem that you're trying to solve are right there. So we've taken this approach, we've applied it to teenage pregnancy, FGM, malnutrition, diabetic management, and the results have been quite outstanding because the solutions are there, and the role of the expert is to create the conditions for those solutions to emerge. Tremendous implications for the life economy because we as experts are focused, obsessed with the leading causes of death, of mortality and morbidity. We don't ask what are the leading causes of life. We don't ask what's thriving amidst adversity. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Alvin. Next, I would like to invite Mr. Hiret, the man behind the agenda.
Definitely overstating it. I feel like I'm under the agenda. Wow. That was a great, I think, I have a friend who calls that heliotropy, which is looking to the light. Martin Luther King said, darkness does not drive out darkness, only light can, right? So we're in a dark place. Some of us aren't in as dark a place. We find indigenous communities, we find social entrepreneurs, we find impact investors, we find conscious consumers, people whose awareness of the world around them is different. They see it through a different lens, and they have different values that result from their insight, and they try to act differently. If we don't understand how to nourish this life economy, that is the life economy being born. The death economy is decaying, as happens with every generation, right? The life economy is the child of the death economy. It is being born of it, from it. So we need to hospice the old with respect, with dignity, and we need to nourish the new. To nourish the new, you have to be able to see it and understand it. That requires insight, understanding, but you got to look to the light. Where is the light? Heliotropy. Plants turn to the light. So the life economy is this thing that is being born, and it is all over the world in all kinds of domains. It's just humans activated by a different consciousness. They build institutions or they do work driven by that consciousness. So until we understand this nascent child of ours, the next paradigm, until we understand it, we don't know how to nourish it. And nourishing it means we have to create an enabling environment, right? Public policy has to shift. The way feedback systems, right? How we measure progress, whatever that even means in the context of a new paradigm, right? All of those things have to be reimagined to nourish the thing we want to give or expression to. So that, to me, is the lens through which the mapping and sense-making and understanding of the life economy needs to happen. Not, check the box about like CSR programs or like, it's just no. We got to find where the light is, where the life is, and these green shoots are all over the world. They're just growing in soil that is not attuned to their needs. So we just got to find them. We got to find out what kind of conditions help them grow, and then we got to figure out how to address those. Thank you.
It is a perfect 3 minute. So I would like to give the floor to everyone in an open discussion. If you have an actions or commitment that you need people to join you in the group and to fill up the form that I have been giving to you on the table. If not, you can take your own time and you can fill it up on by yourself. And we need to bring this back into the main hall after this by 12. I hope we make it because we have around 10 minutes left. But so if anyone want to, yes, all right. So the floor is yours. Sir, please keep your pitch to 1 minute. Just the idea, straight to the point.
Till now, from the three of the speakers, we have got all the points, that is basics points that is required for mapping of life economy, and they are very powerful messages and with a lot of clarity. The conclusions are, it has to be a bottom up approach. It is we must use all of us, all the citizens, at their best level. They should have use their mind and relate to life. It is not just birth and death, but in between, how the life has to be meaningful, not only for oneself but for everyone, in a collaborative approach. The like Herat told, monitoring and the kind of the how to make it happen. And I will give only one small example. while we are talking so much big on lifestyle changes,
Sorry, sir. Can you summarize into the actions or the
that
idea?
is what doing.
Can you do it in short so that the other can
You
keep it?
have taken away my time. I might have
Okay,
completed.
just want to remind you because we have a limited time.
Don't interrupt the flow. Administrative interruption should be minimum. Creativity.
Thank you, sir. You can
Creativity has
continue.
to be honored.
But yes.
Take for example, in the very morning when we are leaving our bed, we are brushing up our teeth, and we are starting the day from there. Most of us throughout the world now brushing with plastic brushes, and that needs to be replaced by a bamboo brush with coconut this thing hairs, or some sustainable material made brush. So there are various initiatives, but market is not able to bring those products in a affordable cost to consumers. So consumers is not finding it in their reach, the sustainable products which is cheaper, affordable. Although they know using a plastic brush is not proper. This is everybody is using a single-use plastic, irrespective of laws are in place. The only thing is, the market regulators are not very conscious to link it to a life economy. So at various stages, we need to link the market, the monitoring mechanism, which is desirable at various points of economy, to create systems which will take up at various level.
Thank you, sir. So please keep it to 1 minute and summarize straight to the point. What is the action or the idea? Thank you.
How to start?
Then next to you, yeah.
Thank you. Now, everyone has spoken about the life economy in a holistic manner, sustainable development, and also speaking about the contribution of everyone in the society. But I believe that the individual contribution is the most important part of it beside the government regulation. But our administrative machinery are not geared toward measuring the individual contribution. Because I can give example of India. Most of the administrative statistics are collected either at the village level or district level. But individual contribution, when it comes to, we have individual welfare, but individual contribution is not measured in any manner, except in some survey. Now, so without modifying the administrative framework of administrative statistics, we will not be able to measure how the individual is contributing. And when we are targeting the individual, indirectly you will get the family statistics, you will get the society statistics automatically when you start collecting the individual statistics on the contribution of individual towards the life economy. It can be, there can be many indicators which will be not measured so far. We have welfare, we know how much they are eating, we know how much, but we don't know how they are behaving overall in a particular time period. So thank you very much.
Lady here first, and then next is yours.
Actually, I wanted a clarification. I was just focusing on the potential topics because here it said that we have to identify the best practices. So, like if we go to the field, there might be some practices which may not be best, but those are struggles. So, how do we fit in here? So, I just wanted to clarify from Harold, but I think it's not here. So, we can go for the other practices, right? Because those are not best, but those are barriers. So maybe we can look at those barriers and keep them in the. That is possible, right?
Yes.
If we want to go for that.
Just want to clarify, if you have any question that's not being answered and you want to get clarified, please put the name on the sheet that I have just given to you. Put your name and your contact and your question in there. Our repertoire will harvest all of that, and all this will be answered to you by the email, I hope.
Thank you.
Yes. So everyone, while I'm gonna invite everyone to share your commitment, your solution to the room here, the listener, you can listen and write your commitment at the same time to the paper because we need this paper go back to the main hall. Thank you. Rowan, back to you.
Hi there. Hello. My name is Rowan Gillis. In this context, from an organization called blue-dot.org, which is a global system innovator and integrator. The action that I'm proposing is actually to fulfill what we're trying to do in 5 minutes, which is a complexity impossibility, namely to map the LiFE economy. So the action is to map the LiFE economy with a consortium of stakeholders that we collectively deem as the best that we can convene, including Graham next to me, Daniel, and others, as well as Hirat's fourth sector. Why is this important? Well, it's clearly key to have a meta system framework for this LiFE economy, both to define it as well as to articulate its meta paradigm of operation, right? Its frame of operation from the micro through to the macro. I think the tagline of the LiFE economy, the reference to one Earth, one family, one future, gives us a beautiful hint as to how we can system map that. And I don't want to drop down that rabbit hole. That's the purpose of the action. But what we're really looking at is how do you map the Earth, the planet, how do you map the family, the society, and map the future, or the future possibilities, the foresight possibilities of applying a LiFE economy. I've dealt with who is involved. What next steps am I going to take? I'm going to engage immediately with Hirat, with Graham, with Daniel, and others, so that we can convene an initial meeting of that as a matter of primary priority. Thank you.
Anyone in the room would like to share your commitment of the idea or the actions? Maybe we can have a gentleman here and then. Okay. Cool.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity once again. So I was thinking, like, I want to look at the life of women who are in the margins of the economy. That is basically women from the unorganized sector, where they represent a higher proportion. And why it is important? Because we hardly have any idea about their life. And we see them around, but it's not documented. So I'll start with that documentation. And who will involve? I think the people who are speaking first, the resource person, and because I could relate to what I want to do and what you are saying, so I would like to connect with them. And what steps needs to be taken, it's quite difficult to say it now because I have to think about it and plan it. Maybe first I'll try to collate the different type of data which is already there. Then I can start the next process of action. Thank you.
You're next.
Myself, Professor D.K. Matan from Punjab University, Patiala, India. So, my idea is that we are facing in our state the problem of the stubble burning, and that is polluting the environment. For this stubble burning, the solution we have given so many times to the government also, because we have to pick up this stubble from every field of the farmer, and then that stubble should be transported to the factories. That because that stubble can be used for making utensil and so many other things can be manufactured from this. So I want to take action on this one, because you told this thinking lifestyle for environment. Then naturally, if some action is to be taken, just because if government is not doing anything, then some NGOs can come on this front also. And the policy issue is also very much important because government should also make this policy that all stubble from the every field that should be lifted to the and transported to the factories. So this is the action point, and it will not pollute the environment also. Thank you. Thank
Anyone in the room have your commitment or idea to share? Then I go. For me, throughout this summit, I have 3 actions that I would like to take on and respond to the life economy. First one, I'm gonna look back into my lifestyle, and then I'm going to identify which action I should change. Maybe when I brush my teeth, maybe I stop the water from running, right? Second, maybe I like using have my own container with me all the time, so I do not use my plastic, or maybe consider stop using much toilet paper. The second that I want to take is I would like to create a course introduced to the life economy in the emerging market for my student. So I would like them at the university. I would like them to using a design thinking approach and respond to the sustainable development goals. And I would like them to produce the solution and then look back. Is it responding to the life economy framework? Last but not least, inspired by Romans, I need to be more ambitious. Not just changing what I can control, but believe that I can use this power, its energy, to change the system as well. Thank you, Rowan, for that. Yes. Yes, let's go.
So thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to speak about life economy and required actions. I am coming from a state which is fully or 100% organic estates. We do not use pesticide or chemical fertilizers. It is completely banned on the border side. So it is punishable offense also in Sikkim. This is Himalaya state connecting border with China. So since we are talking about life economy, if you go and stay for one day, you will feel what is life economy in practical, not in discussion or in assessment. Your entire body will start to feel very, very happy. Your mind, mood, physical appearance, everything will be changed automatically once you stay 24 hours in the state of Sikkim. So we have not observed impact of life economy in our day-to-day life. We are only talking, but there are many places in the world or in the state which is having this kinds of vibrancy in the nature itself. So let us first think how to enjoy the nature, how to protect the nature, how to celebrate the nature. We are not celebrating nature. Nature is around us, but we ignore. This is our tendency as a humans. So we have to connect with the nature, to respect the nature, to play with the nature. Playing doesn't mean that you can go to coastal erosion all the times and damage entire buildings and houses in the coastal areas. So what I am trying to explain is that since Sikkim is a organic state, entire product is 100% organic, but the farmers are unable to sell their product outside the state. Outside the state because organic product cost is much higher than normal market price. It is little costly. People cannot afford to buy all those organic product. So price control mechanism has to be adopted for life economy products. Price mechanism. The second is there is no any complete supply chain or value chain or even supporting infrastructure network to send your products to the particular organic market. So they are lacking market facility as well. So we have to work out in a such way that life economy can be promoted and extended to each one of us. It is not only for Sikkim people. It should be extended to all the people who are interested to enjoy life economy. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I would like to give an opportunity to our people in the room to speak. So for those who have not speak, please feel free. You have 1 minute each. Dutta.
Thank you very much. This one. Thank you very much. Yes, I was looking into it, the agenda here of this meeting mapping exercise. So the action that I would like to basically initiate is on to have some documentation on the best practices. So this is something we can begin with. This is there, but we need to have some kind of an inventory and initiative, and also to identify the local wisdom. I think it's quite important part, and at least in the region that I work, having 6 countries, this is something I can initiate as a part of takeaway from this today's meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dutta. And next, I would like to give the floor to Citria.
Yes, thank you. Well, I'm Citlalia Ayala. I'm from Mexico. I'm a research professor. And, when I read about this action lab specifically, and trying to work on mapping the life economy, I from my specific activities at my institute, I wonder, well, it would be interesting to have a local exercise of understanding and mapping life economy at the local level. So why not to socialize this this topic and specificalities of the life economy with my colleagues, with other researchers, with other practitioners on development, and then to move towards the social basis, NGOs, third sector, other think tanks, and citizens. If we need to know about the lifestyles and about development, we need to listen to the social basis. So that's the kind of actions that I would like to take. I find really interesting to work on life economy at the national level in the G20, but also at the local level. So that's what I would like to do. And well, I thought of this kind of action from my learning with the 2030 agenda. After so many years working with the 2030 agenda, I found that we have not created a common ground and a common understanding on sustainable development. So if we want to talk about a life economy, we need to start from the ground. Thank you.
Thank you, Katali. Next, I would like to give the floor to our special guests, our rapporteurs. Chabin.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, so my idea was on the similar grounds as the speaker who just expressed, except the fact that I wanted to work on creating a digital ecosystem where not only we display the best practices in India and across the world, and probably more so around Global South because we are working so much on South-South cooperation, and make a kind of display the schemes, various government schemes that are in the same lines, where people could also have a chance to innovate and avail funding. Funding that is provided by government, and then eventually the private sector, which kind of companies, corporations are also providing for financial help. Thank you.
Thank you, Chabin.
There are several life economic systems, sustainable systems that are working in India, functioning in India even today, in places where we do not normally concentrate. Some of us are documenting in a little way from our own perspective these sustainable economic business systems. So I suggest that the universities and colleges may be used for mapping the life economic system, because even today very successful systems are functioning. If we see the last 60, 70 years of India's economic progress, it is largely due to the sustainable practices that are happening at the local levels. The educational institutions have ignored for a long time. It is high time that we started studying it. For that, the institutions, local universities and colleges are the best entities for this. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Over to you.
Thank you. Graham Boyd, Evolute 6. First of all, what I can offer is a mapping exercise we've done over the past 10, 15 years on some of the best practices to create a life economy, or what we're now calling a life economy, which is summarized in those two books written with economist Jack Reardon. I've given a copy of each of these to the RIS library, so those who are in RIS can go and read them. What we're committed to doing now in Evolute 6 is scaling what we've found to be best practices to do this. And we're looking for capital stewards, because without more money, we can't scale and accelerate the way we've proven we're able to. In time?
Sorry, I was chatting on WhatsApp. People asking us to go back. But I think it's more important is our people here have a chance to speak up. So anyone have more point to go? All right, I assume not. Everyone on the paper. Okay, sir. Please keep it short and then we represent.
Quite short. When we are discussing about life economy, there are certain things has to follow a step, sequential step, because defining life economy we are doing quite vastly over here, but at the same time, certain definition of the life has to be rewritten. Like we are talking about GDP as the measurement of economy, that has to be completely rewritten. We had a happiness index, we had other things, but nothing has picked up. But when we are talking of life economy, the certain thing like economic betterment, it is to be given certain value. It cannot be the whole value. So the same thing we are talking about here. But what will be the value of the other concept which we are bringing into life economy, that has to be taken into account in this workshop, so that once we are very clear that what will be our concept of life economy, then we go into the measurement of that, the mapping of it, that what will be the what are the other welfare. So this is what I am saying, rewriting some definition. Like manufacturing in every country is given a kind of part of the economy. The major policy regulation are on increasing manufacturing, even in India. While manufacturing is per se, like automobile industry, I was seeing it, they say that you replace every vehicle 10 years, even if the vehicle is good. And there is a blanket regulation on that. So that is basically is deteriorating environment, that is basically causing a lot of hardship onto individuals. These are the things which are to be rewritten in terms of the definition. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So to wrap this session up, I would like to invite our content planner, Daniel, to wrap up the session.
Thank you so much, everybody. I'll keep it short. Thank you for giving the signs of life economy that we can really now map extensively. And this is really a task for Gallery, amongst others, and for all of us, putting our attention to the light, to the many initiatives that are growing already locally and allowing process that allows for these values that really matter for the economy to emerge and to be reflected in every economic activities. That's the paradigm shift that we're heading for. So thank you and keep it going.
Thank you. And I have one last word that I learned. Sometimes it's hard for you to make a decision, but if you put Mother Nature in the middle chair and put them as a CEO, that is your decision. You make a decision based on the Mother Nature, and he or she is our CEO. Thank you. We have one more agenda to go, but we cannot skip. You know my line. We're gonna take a group photo together outside. For those who doesn't want to be in the photo, feel free to opt out. Thank you. Oh, everyone, I forgot. Please keep it with you, but please write your name and the contact. And I think this will be collected in the main hall. Please write your name and contact and bring it with you to the main hall. Keep it. And please give it to me in the main hall. Let's go and get photo together.
Taking a picture of